Welcome back to Last Call. Big thank you goes to Toriano Clinton for that interview and coming up here to spend some time with us on a busy Monday after the Greyhounds just defeated Ohio Dominican University on the road. I was at that game in Columbus, Ohio. A lot of fun to call. It was a 28-7 lead at one point in the first half after Toriano had 3 of the first 4 touchdowns on the ground, and then things just took off from there. Ohio Dominican ended up coming back and made it a close game. Lost the lead towards the end, the Greyhounds did, and they mounted one of those game-winning drives we've seen twice now from Connor Kennedy. It was a pretty impressive day for the Greyhounds. They got the 44-38 win in Ohio Dominican's territory in Columbus.
Yeah, you know, it was a good showing from all the Greyhounds just to be kind of knocked down and get right back up and keep trucking through and going towards the victory. Like you said, we've had it the past 2 weeks in a row, comeback wins, and it's got to be an encouraging sign for Coach Keevers and the squad to know that they can get knocked down and that they can recover and still play quality football and get back into the game.
Granted, Coach Keevers was still very upset going into halftime because they had lost that lead. There was a Ohio Dominican who scored at the end of the half into the beginning of the second half that kind of mounted that comeback and made it a close game. Selfishly, I had a lot of fun calling it because it was a very fun game instead of just another blowout that the Greyhounds have been accustomed to doing. But Coach Keevers was very upset into the halftime. Then once he got to the end of the game, he was pretty happy. But more importantly, Toriano Clinton moved ahead to first on the leaderboard all time. As you heard just a few minutes ago in the interview, as the Greyhounds rushing king, he's tied the total touchdown mark of all time, and then he's only a touchdown away from tying that total from the rushing touchdown mark.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this weekend against SBU that he'll probably have the touchdown mark in his grasp. He might have 1, 2, 3. We've seen him have as many as 4 touchdowns in one game. I don't mean to be premature and make crazy predictions or whatnot, but you know, 32 attempts for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns for Toriano Clinton. It's just becoming a regular thing for him. It's just another day at the office.
Come out and watch that game if you can't, though. It'll be on UIndy TV. We're going to have that coverage on the same YouTube channel, UIndy TV's YouTube. It'll be Saturday night at 6 o'clock, homecoming, and like I said, you might be able to witness history with 2 more records that Clinton could come away with, and it'll be a pretty good game against Southwest Baptist. It'll be a good one for Clinton to break that record on. Last year, you and I went to that Southwest Baptist game, and it was 197 rushing yards in the first quarter to set an NCAA record for Clinton. You very well could repeat that.
Yeah, moving on and previewing the SBU matchup, the last time that UIndy saw Southwest Baptist, like you said, we were there. It was a 77-10 Hounds win. I mean, Jeremiah Lee had a kickoff return touchdown and 3 total receiving touchdowns in the game. Clinton, like you said, 198 yards, like just excellent performance. Actually, every running back on the roster in that game scored at least 1 touchdown. So it was a very encouraging showing. And from the defensive side, SBU only had negative 49 rushing yards. Now, they do count sacks as negative yards in the NCAA, but still, negative yards is negative yards. Yeah,
it was very impressive from the Greyhounds, and probably going to see a very similar showing, not to be premature like you said, but against a team like SBU, starting GLVC play, the Greyhounds at home in front of this homecoming crowd, going to be a big crowd, probably going to be a big blowout as well. But it'll be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of offense, and maybe some history from Toriano.
Yeah, and SBU's no slouch. They come in at 2-2. They lost to U of West Florida, who is a perennial Division II title contender, and Findlay, who also, I believe they made it all the way to the national championship last year. They lost 41-17 to West Florida, 52-35 to Findlay. They actually are coming off a win, though, against Lake Erie, 52-31 in a convincing fashion. Their quarterback, Cooper Collis, 22 for 28, 306 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, that's quite a stat line.
And he's one of the best quarterbacks in the conference as well, so it's going to be tough for the Greyhounds defense to hold up. They kind of fell apart, especially on the back end. They allowed the best receiving day by any Ohio Dominican Panther in ODU history, so it'll be tough to make sure that they can kind of control things on the back end. I believe Andrew Wolf had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, can we just read that stat line? 12 receptions for 278 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's a defensive lapse if I've ever seen one. Yeah. Crazy stat line, Madden stat line.
Exactly. So it'll be tough with Cooper Collis and with the talented receivers that Southwest Baptist has. They've got 2, 3 guys that they can go deep and feel comfortable with. It'll be tough for the Greyhounds to find something on defense. So I'm sure that both offenses are going to find a way to put up some points on Friday. On Saturday, that is.
Yeah, there's a good rushing attack, good passing attack. SBU is no slouch, like we said.